Hello and welcome to the Kitchen Conversations podcast. My name is Patrycja Rozwora and I'm the host of this platform where we speak about contemporary art from so-called Eastern Europe. In each episode, you're going to be introduced to one artist or researcher whose visual or activist practice sheds light onto the complex former socialist region with all its histories, cultures, languages, foods, but also traumas and their inevitable contemporary consequences. This podcast is a fully independent platform existing since May 2020, meaning it is not a funded project and it is self-run by me, myself, and I. If you enjoy the monthly conversations, please consider supporting the podcast by making a single donation on buymeacoffee.com/kitchenconversations or becoming my monthly Patreon via the Patreon website. All the needed links can be found in the show notes of this episode. Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you're having a good start into the new phase of the season. 2 more cold months and we are slowly heading towards the spring, at least around Europe. Back in December, I released the first collaboration episode with the Belarusian Filmmakers Network. And today I'm excited to share the second conversation featuring a young Belarusian Vietnamese filmmaker, Lena. Lena, a conservatory-trained pianist, discovered her true passion for photography and film. With a rich imagination, as you will see, and a deep understanding of poetry and literature, she brings a unique sensitivity to her work, placing emotion and sensory impression at the forefront of her creative process. Welcome, Lena, to Kitchen Conversations.
Well, welcome. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for having me here.
Nice to see you through the screen. And hello to Minsk, where you are based and located. Is that correct?
That's right.
And what time is it now at your place?
8 p.m.
Right, so it's already like proper evening for you, end of the day.
Early start of my personal day because right after work. My second breath is coming.
Cool. So I hope that will be like a nice, inspiring moment to chat for the next 45 minutes, 1 hour about your work. And we just delve right into it. Perhaps you could share for the very beginning something about your name. Your name is Lena Le.
It's my artistic name, sort of. I started to put it with my works after I met my dad, consciously, because it was like my life, my art life begins in a new way. So. Before that, I had my mom's surname, and everybody pronounced it incorrectly. And after that, I put this short surname after my name, and I thought, of course, now problem is gone. But no, everyone tried to pronounce it like Lee, because it's more, probably more often you can hear it. But it's Le. Because it's Vietnamese surname, not Chinese. The story was I met my dad in Vietnam, and I got some history of my family there. Because before that, do you have this experience when in childhood with other children you should to draw your family tree? And my family tree always was so simple and little. Mm-hmm. Because I know just about my mom and about my grandmom. Everything what could be connected with my dad was so vague. In in a deep, deep fog. And after I met him, I knew that I had writers in my family a lot, because I had a grandma and grandpa from my dad, which were writers, and also I had grandpa. And just imagine, in Vietnam, in Hanoi, there is a street with name of this grandpa. Can you imagine it?
That's so cool.
And I learned it from this journey 5 years ago, or something like that. It was so good to know that you have some history. Also, you have colleagues in your family.
And your tree was, let's say, less vague, more complete.
So I decided to change my name. When you have this dream in childhood, when you don't like your name and you try to rename yourself, it's so confusing, because nothing is good. Everything is okay when you call other people, but everything is just horrible with you. And I think, I already have another name, so why not? And
why not?
Yeah, why not? Now I changed it. Yeah.
Cool. And the other side of your family, your mom and your grandmother, just if you can tell briefly for those who don't know you, where are they rooted?
The history was about war. So my grandma, she lost her parents in a very young age. So because of that, she can't remember nothing about her childhood. She grown up in orphanage, and I don't remember that we tried to find our family tree so deeply. And that was an interesting moment for me, because when you grown up in artistic spheres, very often you can hear some meaning and senses about you're supposed to have a history, you're supposed to have some background, and that describes who you are. And in my case, I didn't feel it, because I have so many impressions in life, just in the beginning of my life too, and I'm growing up, and all these impressions are just grown up with me. That's why I think that I'm not so into roots, but about my experience from my surrounding.
We will speak about that, but I definitely can see that in your work. But from your name, so you changed your name, and you said like that moment kind of also was somehow defining a bit for your artistic development. And not only that, but you also did a different study before, which was, I would say, also artistic, but in a different way that you're working now. Tell us maybe about that, about this change of, let's say, profession or, professional life of yours.
I think it happened naturally, this change in route. I see it as you should move somewhere. And you can't just stand where you was born. I mean, I was born in a family surrounded by academy music, and I just can't stay here and also get some new impressions. And I'm not speaking about just, pleased me or just make my life interesting. I'm not speaking about it. You need to shape your soul, and you need to shape your path also. So
not only take what you get from your family, but find your own way.
Mm-hmm. And to make it possible to go my own way, first I need to create this goal inside me. Something that not so far, but not so close. And this goal can make me grown up. That's what I'm trying to say, that you should to move somewhere. from your 0 point. And music was my 0 point, my first step in life.
You were a classical pianist, right?
Yeah, that's right. There are very interesting things about it. You really should be like a warrior to go through it. For example, you should be on stage very often. And if something not so good in the moment when you're on stage, you're supposed to deal with it. You're supposed to create your mind, to shape your mind. First, I didn't care about anything, and next, I became very shy. I didn't want to share my personal thoughts and experience with audience, and it was very hard for me to go through it. And it's good if you have an audience, because mostly you have teachers, and it's not the right audience, because they judge you and in very rough way.
Are you still playing, or are you still performing, or is this completely behind you?
Last time, I finished my study when I was 24, and after that I told myself, if I don't want to practice, just don't do it. It was your final concert. It was your final exam, so just left it behind and go to the piano only if you really want to spend some time with it. And it's not so often. Here we come closer to interesting position in my life, because it's also kind of philosophy. If you have not so good, nice experience with something, and it's one part of your balance. So if you want to balance it back, to put something to get balance back, you need to do some right things, some opposite things, or you don't need to do anything. After that, you have no bad experience. So if you can't get a good experience for you, just don't make bad experience for you. After that, only after that, you can fill it with something good.
How did you find the balance? Did you do something else, or you didn't do anything?
I just didn't do things that I don't want to do. For example, I don't like to learn something by heart, so I don't need to do it anymore. Because now, if I play, it's about new sounding or something like that. Because only in this case you can find your own thoughts and your own statements.
And especially, I think classical music is like rather the opposite. It's like practicing to become a master of something, right? Mm-hmm. Practicing and repeating. But there is not much space for like a creative interpretation of a piece.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Also, we have, the size of your soul and the size of your identity. And if you want to explore it, you must risk sometimes.
And you found your place of risking, I would say, through other mediums and through other forms of art, and more free, let's say, ways of speaking your soul. Mm-hmm. And one of the many things you do is photography and film, and that I want to focus on today. You shared with me some of your films and some of the co-productions or other things you were working on, but I would like to focus today on your independent films. One short feature film and one longer documentary film. But before that, perhaps you can also, because we will be mainly speaking about film, but you are also a photographer, and I checked your Instagram before opening this
Oh,
Zoom
really?
session. And you take really, I'm also, let's say my background is photography. I studied photography in art school. And I was very intrigued by the way you see stuff and the world. So maybe you can start by speaking about you as a photographer.
It's simple because I had a photo camera much earlier than video camera. It was a big deal for me to buy my own camera, my first camera, because I started to make some photos with feeling I am a photographer before I got my own camera. So you can imagine. You always have to deal with some new instrument, which also kind of good because when you're a pianist, you also have your own instrument. You always need to find this common language in new circumstances. I remember this feeling when you make something and you don't care so much. You don't think probably so much. You care, but you don't think so much. And I remember the quality of feedback I got with my photo, for example. And also it was an area when nobody can tell me what to do. But of course, I needed to hear some suggestions because it's a technique and you need to know how to deal with it. And I was lucky, really lucky, because every time I need to get some new knowledge with no idea where to go, who I'm supposed to find, they always found me somehow by themselves. So, I have this picture in my head with teachers just falling down on my road in front of me.
So did you also study photography?
Only practicing, not some photo school, which also we have not, probably.
In Minsk, right?
Yeah, I think even in Academy of Arts, probably they had some photo courses, but it's not the house of photography. And also we had in our Minsk history, we had a very interesting time. I am speaking about Minsk School of Photography, but it was just one person and a couple of friends, and they were like a group, a very curious and powerful group. And they traveling around the world and had some exhibitions in very famous at the very famous places. But please don't ask me where. I don't remember specifically.
What was their name?
Well, one of them is Igor Savchenko, and also his friend Sergei Kozhemyakin. And their teacher was very special man, and he reminds me of Frank Zappa in his younger age. These guys, Igor and Sergei, I met him in my surrounding, in my culture surrounding in Minsk. We have some conversation at the exhibitions, and after that we started to meet in companies, small companies, like flat/concert, something like that. I know them quite well as persons and as creators. as well.
And were they like also your, let's say, inspiration or certain forms of mentors that like inspired your work as well? Or
it probably gave me some inspiration, but not as mentors. I had this type of people, but it's not them. I first in my life I have a company company of interest. So in Minsk, and it's kind of sad story because now it's just half of the company, and the second part now in Berlin, in Warsaw, in Vilnius, and of course you have this feeling that your city like grows probably, but also you have the opposite feeling that you in any case you lost something in both cases. No, probably it's not the right path of conversation, but you know,
let's
here it is.
move towards your work then. Perhaps a question that could both be directed towards your photography and your film and any other art you do. Like, what is for you important in making art? Like, why do you make art? What do you want to capture? You said like you get inspiration from your surroundings, but can you be more specific? Like, what exactly do you want to speak about?
My history with, my relationships with art probably begin with portraits, because I remember this feeling where in childhood, before even I went to school, I met some people who they were kind of archetypes for me. It's very interesting feeling. I just was so exciting to see them. And I saw very specific beauty in them, like shining or something like that. And it was too big for me. So I started to draw them. And after I can see these drawings in real life, not just in my head, the next logical step was to show it to them. And it was always so scary, but it's so important. Like, it's a final step of all the process. After I figured out that I can take some photos on camera, also I found that I see without camera almost same way. We have this expression, camera loves something or somebody. It was so natural for me, and I can see the difference between me and other people, which probably were more automatic, just I have a plan, I need to follow it, and that's all. And in these connections between you and something, your instrument, always supposed to be some space for jokes, for curiosity. And I started to notice that I have wrong connections with piano if we're speaking about academy music, and just right connections with camera. So that was my mark. When somebody just could appear on your photos and you share this moment with them and with someone else, you notice that conversations are going farther than you And it's very important for me because I think it is a life when you can create something beyond yourself. If it could live like their own life, if it could live by itself, so that's the right way.
That's the ideal.
Yeah, that's the ideal.
And you were speaking about portraits, and we, I guess, imagined portraits as a still image, but you also worked with the format of portrait in a film. And here, of course, I would like to start speaking about your documentary film from 2023, 4 Circles Away from Center, a documentary piece about another artist that I can imagine you saw as someone very inspiring that you wanted to follow. But tell me more about the idea of making this piece.
I heard very right words about one documentary film from Agnieszka Varda. She said, like, I just know the way I need to edit it, and I just know the way I need to shoot this person. That's all. You know, I saw Marina and at her exhibition, and I understood that I met her work years before it, and I still can remember it. That's the deal. I just saw a simple drawing at the flat of our common friend, but I didn't know her that time. And after this many years, here I am. And I remember this minutes when I just came through the main doors, and I'm thinking like, okay, this is the first day of exhibition, and the artist somewhere there around us, and I have no idea how does she look, and you know, after that I just turn and I understand there she is, because she is the same, like her world, like her drawings and her sculptures. So and this part that they are both the same, it was probably a first brick of my decision to shoot this film. Many artists are doing some things beyond them, but too much beyond them. If you can understand what I'm speaking. And I saw a harmony between what she's doing and what kind she is. And I can understand, of course, that it was a long way. It's not just a one moment. And after that, we can speak about, you know, this reflections, like something I can see in her way, something probably her can see in me, and etc., etc.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to ask, like, how did the collaboration between you two look like? And since it's a documentary, the question is always, how much did you direct it? How much was her persona just like being herself and you were just like filming? I wonder about the making process.
We just try to get one very high note and keep this all this time during our filming, because after I shooted the last part with her, it was part fully directed. I mean, all this part with sword and something else, but mostly with sword. I felt that I could feel that this high note became more lower and lower and lower it wasn't about true or false. It was just about, this tension inside. And I need to be very, to see and to hear very small details in our conversations. And because of that, you're always in tension. This tension of art, probably. I knew that I supposed to have some material, and somewhere inside it, I found what I need to find. Also, I had some feeling of how long it's supposed to be, and mostly now it's my main criterion. How long it's supposed to be? How long could you be in this process? And I just
the length of your process or the length of the final piece?
The length of everything. What we could say, what we could name as film. I mean, the beginning, the production, shooting, and post-production, and all this process. Of course, you have connection during all the process between this and your life, and you a material for the film too, for all this time.
How long was this one for? In this case of the film Four Circles Away from Center, how long was that time?
Half of the year. So kind of 6 months.
And is this film available for people to watch, or do you show it in some festivals? Or
yes, of course. It exists on platform Vodblisk. It's a platform with modern Belarusian films. And also I still have my link on Vimeo. Let it be. Why not?
Nice. Yeah. I will then link it to the podcast so people can also, from our mysterious talking, also be able to see the film if they would like to.
When I hear these words, documentary film, I'm not sure that it's the right description of it. Yeah. And so my only hope that something in my voice and in common situation could get something clear, more clear.
If it's not a documentary, what else could it be?
A film portrait. But nowadays it sounds a bit like you probably remember this expression vanilla girl or something like that. So it's kind of vanilla filmmaker when you try to get more poetic words in the description of your film. So it's a film question also. Good question. For me, it's a film reminding. My reason why I not just stopped all the process, and because if I try to watch it on distance, I felt like I'm just a guest with a camera. Like I'm drinking tea, and all the difference that I'm a filmmaker is that I have a camera. That's all. I'm just drinking tea and eat some pies, and have some conversations. And my reason was that I caught some air of, this world. So when I edit one scene, and one small scene, I rewatched it in hard time for me, when I still was in editing process of all film, and it was kind of small relief, or not small, and I think probably somebody will find it too. Yeah.
In the last few minutes, I also wanted to briefly speak about your short feature film that premiered in 2020, titled Artificial. I watched it twice, and I'm still not sure what it is about. I have certain feelings and certain interpretations, and I think that's open for everyone. But again, can you tell a few sentences about what you were thinking there and what was your motivation to make this feature film?
What on earth was this all about? Of course. The reasons were very personal, and probably it doesn't matter because let better speak about construction, about shape, and about film. So idea was that there are some girl and there are some women, and they had a connection, but woman, she is ashamed of this connection. Also, we have her, I remember I put it in the script, her hobby of BDSM, when we can see the part of it with the sheet music on the stairs. And all these details just to, to embody shame. And because of shame, she left this girl. And this girl became sleepless because she lost this person, which in some strange way was a calm for her. And she started to just walking around the city with this type of eyes.
Sleepy eyes, zombie eyes.
Zombie eyes, right, and zombie face, and she's still in her pajamas. So she just for accident. She came to the concert and she heard the music, and she recognized the music because this woman was a composer. She heard it and she got her sleep back, and that was the construct. And I want a lot to work with text, so I don't know why, but it's very meaningful for me, a text. So I just tried to express their inner feelings with 2 monologues. And also I thought that it probably might be a good idea that she had no conversations directly with each other because they fall apart, and that's the conflict. But of course it's for 10 minutes too many metaphors probably.
But cool to hear you explain it. Now it gives a lot to it. And I mean, I already got some elements of it, but of course you kind of connected the story together. Mm-hmm. It's very beautiful. I enjoyed watching that one.
Oh, really?
I also like the 8 minutes or 8 minutes. I think it's a good one because as you said, it has a lot of metaphors, but it's also easy to watch it more and more times, and then every time catch something else. Mm-hmm. And it has, beautiful this element of love or certain, having the other person next to you and then not having them anymore, and then kind of losing your sleep over that.
Yeah. Sleep is means a lot to me because it's where all the visions are born. And also we had a lot of fun when we shooted this scene in pajama and sitting around, surrounded by people in real concert. it was a real concert right in the Academy of Music where I studied still. No. I didn't study there at that time, but I still had some connections with them. So you must know that Academy of Music are very close, close place. You can't just get into without good reason. And there was a concert specifically in that day when we were shooting, and I remember that an actress was so confused about that everyone are clapping to the artist on the stage and she's not. She was ashamed about it. Yeah.
Nice story. That makes sense when remembering the scene at the concert at the end. Can you also share something about what you are working on right now, or what keeps you busy at the moment?
It will be my first full-length feature film. And it is about two brothers, Shaper and spellcasters, which grown up in orphanage, but now they're masters. Shaper creates shapes from wounds, people wounds, and spellcaster makes these shapes. He makes specifically the jewelers from it, and by words, by poetry words. And the point is that they created jewelries from real wounds, and then spellcaster met a girl and he fell in love with her, but because of that he fell in love with her, after they healed their real wounds, he started to see her wound on the soul, and it's something new for them. It's bigger than they could imagine.
So emotional wounds.
Yeah, emotional wounds, and also because it's not only, when we speak about metaphorical wounds, it's not only about emotions. Sometimes there are no emotions at all because it all burned. And but it's about soul, yeah. And they must figure it out, what they could do and what they couldn't do, because it's not their area, for example, and they probably try to do something what not their deal but a God's deal.
Sounds very abstract and very trippy. Very surrealist. Very curious. What will be, what shape it will take. And
yes, that's the main
share
question.
It with me when it's done.
Well, it will have 60 minutes and probably a bit over it, but just you can take this impression of short film, of surrealistic in the short film, and just plus it 6 times. Yeah. So now you're prepared.
All right, ready for some adventure. Great. That's a nice, exciting ending of the part where we speak about you and your work. But last but not least, we still have a part about food on this podcast.
Oh, I almost forgot about it.
I'm curious, what will you say about your favorite food from home, or food that makes you feel at home, homey, or just feeling good, perhaps at a more sad or more difficult moment?
Well, you probably saw this musical video about which named Panie Ciśniku, Mr. Waiter. It also was about food, and food is so often a good metaphor of something, of relationship, of warm feeling or something like that, or when you lost this warm feeling. Let me just tell you one moment. I had a short journey in November, in the beginning of November, and two places were in this journey. It was Venice and it was a Cottbus. And in Venice, and
very different places.
You tell me. But in Cottbus was a cinema festival, so not just only Cottbus, you know. And in Venice, I ordered a hotel without kitchen. There was no kitchen and no opportunity to prepare something. And in Cottbus, I had a completely different place. It was more like a home out. Not in the city, but outside the city, and it was a small yard in front of the main entrance, and it also was a kitchen, a fully normally kitchen. And when I can cook something by myself, that's a feeling that everything is kind of stable. because, for example, now I had this opportunity. I barely can cook a short breakfast in the morning, and after that I somewhere outside. So, but I like these moments of calmness and stable when you can just cook something by yourself. And also, I like a simple food because I just can't read all these long recipes. For example, rice. In my stable times, it was my favorite food. So, rice with vegetables and with some sauces. Probably you can make it by yourself. And fish with all this.
All right. That sounds very homey. I think I will have something similar today, rice with vegetables. That's my plan for dinner.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm like, but I can't prepare. I have never opportunity to make it by myself. It's pancakes. When I came to my mom, I'm so glad if she can cook it to me, but probably some days, probably sometime.
Cool. How do you call pancakes in Russian or Belarusian?
In Russian, blinchiki. In Belarusian, I would say oladki.
All right.
Blinцы de oladki.
Thank you so much for the podcast conversation, Lena. I really enjoyed listening to you and delving more into your poetic and philosophical ways of thinking about art, which is quite different to some other conversations I'm having on this podcast, where it's
really
more about politics and more defined culture.
That's how restrictions make art grow.
That's true. Yeah. So thanks for that, and I hope you also enjoyed your evening and the hour spent with me. And this was it for today. Thank you for reaching till the end of this episode. The next one is coming in 4 weeks, always on Monday. Please follow the podcast and leave a rating. I'm also happy to hear your feedback, so feel free to write me via Instagram or by email. All the needed info you will find in the show notes of this episode. In the meantime, take good care and we hear each other soon.